Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I'm Dr. NIK NIKAM. We're delighted you could join us. I have three beautiful ladies here from the beauty pageant. Right next to me is Prerana, who is Mrs. India USA Texas 2017. Next to her is Celina, Miss Teen USA Texas 2017. And next to her is Hinna, who is Miss India USA Texas 17. And during a beauty pageant, one of the most look forward to is the question answers. That's the rare audience, but not necessarily the participants. So we are going to test you ladies on this particular topic of question and answer, but we're going to go a little bit beyond and try to debate on this subject, so it is not going to get only one answer. All right? So the topic is tip on tax, tip on tips, tip on tax and tips. Should we tip or should we not tip? What are the pros and cons? Let's start off.
Okay, I think giving tip is a matter of personal choice. It shouldn't be forced or expected, because if you are happy with someone's service, it's okay to reward them. That's my opinion. But when I'm forced to give gratuity, for example, when I'm going and eating out with friends, or when I'm forced to give tips, which was demanded to me, I am just not happy, because if I'm not happy with the service, why should I pay? That's what I think. It should be a matter of personal choice. If you like the service, you reward that person with tip or whatever you want.
You know, it's surprising because there is no law in the country saying that you have to give tips. But a lot of restaurants automatically, even if you're a single person going there, they automatically add 18-22% tip.
Yes.
So how in the world can they just automatically add something without taking your permission?
As I said earlier, it has to be a matter of personal choice rather than making a law, because it's like if you like something, then only you reward. It can be anything.
Yeah.
So, I'll stand with what I said.
I think...
You're on a limited budget as a teenager, so.
But I'm still working.
Yeah, I know, that's good.
Okay, so for my pros for tips for a living would be people make a living out of it, right? And like where they work, people like, for example, if you work in a restaurant, you basically make a living out from your tips. You don't make a living out of your salary because they don't pay you enough, right? So like, kids like me, because Prerana, she's like already established, she's like physical therapist, and Hinna, she's like a nurse, right?
I'm a student.
Student, like, I mean, like
not
still,
yet, yeah.
But you're
I'm
working,
in the medical field.
You're
yeah.
medical field.
Yeah.
You're working towards it. At some point of your life, like, you know, she's gonna be successful. She's gonna be stable, right? So like, I'm like still young. I have still 10 years to progress my way. In order for that, if I work somewhere, I would expect tips, because like I'm gonna work with passion because I want to serve you good. So if you give me tips, I'm gonna be a person like you. I'm gonna be a successful person. Whereas cons could be people could misuse it. They could get the money and use it for drugs or anything that's bad. So like use it positively.
See, you bring up a very important point, and that is most of your revenue is coming from tips. I mean, that's where the real problem is.
Yeah.
Because the country needs to have labor laws that match the type of service you do.
Of course.
When you work as a nurse, you have a set salary. You don't get tips, even though you're cleaning their behind and all this as a nurse. And as a sales clerk, you're doing much harder work, picking up 50-pound bags of groceries and all this and helping people. You don't get tips. You tip a bus driver, you tip a taxi driver. Why won't you tip a bus driver? Why won't you? I won't say you tip a doctor, because everyone's going to jump off. No, I am saying because this is sort of selective, and has become a disease where people expect you to pay 18-20%. That's not a simple amount of money.
Yeah, it's like one thing I would say is unfair when restaurants or people like they already add 20%. That's wrong, because like it should be our choice whether to pay 15% or 20% or 25%, whatever. But adding it by yourself in our bill, that's like
see, there are some crooks who add your food amount then taxes, they add tip on taxes, and on the bottom there is an extra column for another tip.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen those.
Yes,
This
I
is
have.
highway robbery as far as I'm concerned. And the service, some of the places I have gotten in these places who demand tips are probably the worst one. That's why a lot of these places I don't even go. I can name a few places in Houston. Let's hear from Hinna.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think it depends on your profession and what you're doing. Like you said, if you're a nurse, you're already making a set salary, a pretty good salary for the most part. So I wouldn't expect to tip a nurse. That's not how you usually do it.
What's the difference? It's a service.
Versus, it is a service, but
Yeah.
versus a waiter getting paid $2 an hour.
Well, that's where I
Right.
think is the real problem, because nobody should be getting $2 an hour
Yes.
when the
So
minimum
that's-
wage is at $11 to $12.
So there is a mismatch of
Yeah.
salary
So that's the
or
problem.
amount you're earning.
Yeah, so if I know this waiter, because I used to be a waitress, is making $2 an hour, I need tip. Why else am I working here?
Make a
That
living.
means they're exploiting your services. The restaurant industry is exploiting services of individuals and then passing the buck on to the customers. They're already charging a whole lot for a product which doesn't cost them maybe 10% for the raw materials.
Yeah.
I have a serious issue with this, because they need to change labor laws that match the type of service you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't hire somebody for $2. That's insane. I mean, that's illegal as far as I'm
I guess
concerned.
that's mostly the food industry where you work.
There is
in.
no reason
So
for any
hospitality
industry to,
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah, no, because like people I know that work in restaurants and stuff, they're like, we basically make a living out of our tips. If they don't tip, we don't know what we're gonna go next, like because they pay less to us.
Yeah.
Very true. So
Wonderful, ladies. It's a beautiful discussion. And ladies and gentlemen, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also visit our Facebook page, where we bring you the latest news, views, and opinions from around the world. And we are going to take a little break. We're going to come back, and we're going to tackle another important current topic that has usurped this entire country for the year 2017 and 2018, and that is sexual exploitation of people at workplace. So please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll be back.